Hey guys, welcome back to another one of these famous artist videos. Today I will be drawing Faith Ringgold in a cute cartoon/anime style while teaching you some fun facts you may or may not know. Faith Ringgold was born on October 8, 1930 in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City. She's an American author and artist known for creating narratives using quilts that show her beliefs. Born as Faith Will Jones, she was the youngest of 3 children. They were born during the Harlem Renaissance, which was the rise and revival of African American arts and culture. Ringgold suffered from asthma at a young age and spent large amounts of time at home with her mother, who was a fashion designer. From her, she learned to sew and work creatively with fabric. Ringgold said that her mother was the one who taught her how to have confidence with her own artwork. Throughout her school career, Ringgold developed an interest in art and decided to make it her career. She enrolled at the City College of New York in 1950, but at the time, art was believed to be an exclusively male job, and she studied arts education when she was rejected by the liberal arts department. Ringgold received her bachelor's degree in fine art and education in 1955, and then spent the next 5 years juggling many different roles. She taught art in the public school system and enrolled in a graduate studies program at City College, all while caring for her own 2 daughters. Ringgold also began developing her own artwork, which at the time was still fairly classical. She received her Master of Arts degree in 1959 and then toured Europe to visit their finest museums. In 1962, Ringgold created a series of paintings called American People, which would become some of her most important and famous work. All the paintings were themed around the civil rights movement and presented issues of that era. Her first solo gallery in 1967 featured the series in its entirety. Ringgold also became a notable figure during the 1960s for her activism for women's rights and anti-racism. She co-founded the ad hoc Women's Art Committee with Lucy Lippard, an art critic and historian, and artist Poppy Johnson. Their first protest was against the Whitney Museum of Art in 1968, where no women or African American artists were included. To protest, they left eggs around the museum and blew whistles to disrupt the show. Ringgold would go on to found and co-found many other organizations and committees, such as Women, Students, and Artists for Black Art Liberation, the National Black Feminist Organization, and Where We At? Black Women Artists. In the early 1970s, Ringgold took a visit to the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, a museum for art and history. The collection of Tibetan Thangka paintings deeply affected her, and she became inspired to use similar techniques in her own artwork. She would paint on acrylic canvases with fabric borders and created cloth dolls and soft sculptures. Ringgold left her teaching job in 1973, which gave her more time to focus on her own artwork. With the newfound free time, she began to experiment working with other mediums. Some of note were the Harlem series, which was a collection of portrait sculptures, African-influenced masks that were used in performance pieces, and posters in support of the Black Panthers and activist Angela Davis. Near the end of the 1970s, Ringgold attempted to have her autobiography published, but was unsuccessful. Instead, she found a different way to tell her story, drawing inspiration from Tibetan art and pulling from her mother's early influence. Ringgold began to create a series of quilts, her first being Echoes of Harlem in 1980. She went on to create many more, eventually using text as well. Some of her most notable quilts include Who's Afraid of Aunt Jemima? Who's Bad? A tribute to singer Michael Jackson, and Tar Beach, the first piece in a series called Woman on the Bridge. The series is now on permanent display at the Guggenheim Museum. At the same time, Ringgold became a professor of art at the University of California at San Diego, where she taught until 2002. In the early 1990s, Ringgold also began her career in children's books, and she published Tar Beach, inspired by her quilt of the same name. In 1995, she published her memoir, We Flew Over the Bridge. Currently, she's written more than 15 other children's books. Ringgold has also received many awards and honors: National Endowment for the Arts Award, a Guggenheim Fellowship for Painting, and an NAACP Image Award. Today, Ringgold still stands as an influential figure within the arts and activism world. The many organizations that she founded and co-founded helped women and women of color gain new opportunities within the art world, and Ringgold's work is still displayed in museums around the globe. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Share it with a fellow art nerd, and if you love receiving quality and free art education, subscribe.
If you'd like to support the channel and the creation of free arts education, become a member on Patreon for working files, behind-the-scenes posts, and discounts on our class offerings. If you enjoyed this video, here's a couple other videos you can check out next.